time for it live once again. Put that down a little bit here. Who do we have on? That's one sore looking thumb, Stephen. All right, here we go. So that is last week's attempt at cutting some bread. I sliced through the side of my finger with the bread knife. So this is a week later. I've clipped the edge off of it. There was some skin hanging. This is kind of gross, but skin hanging, I cut it back because it was catching on things. So yeah. So welcome, Stephen in Australia. Welcome to Christopher in the UK. Who else do we have? That's it showing right now. All right. Did say 6 people, now it says we're 3 people and 2 likes. Sorry. Well, I'm sure some other people will pop on. There's Sarah in Germany. Welcome. Yeah, I figured I got to do a thumbnail for today's live. Why don't I actually use a thumbnail? So that's why I went with that. Christopher in Washington State's on. Don in Idaho's on. Welcome, welcome. So that's why you kind of got the gross looking thumbnail this time around for the live stream. I was like, what can I do that might be a little different that might spark some conversation? So let's show you what my thumb looks like. I had lots of people who have been asking how it's healing up. So that's how it's healing up. We've kind of got this half moon slice out of the side of my finger that's coming along. Well, today, I'm going to move this. I don't like this angle very much. Let's go this direction. I'm plugged into, there, that looks a little bit better. And a little less hot. I've got the heat dish on behind me. It is kind of a nice spring day out there. The snow's all gone again. So whatever came is melted away. It's not raining today, which is nice. I think it's going to be about 7 degrees Celsius maybe today. And then tomorrow I think it's going to rain again. So up and down every day. 20 in Germany for Sarah. So very nice and warm there. Beautiful spring, almost summer day for you. Getting a few more degrees and you're definitely going to have summer weather. And I'll need to shave again. Hopefully I don't have to choose too many. Ooh, it's a little chilly for dawn though. 26 Fahrenheit. Yeah, I don't want to have too many thumbnails like that. But I thought I was being quirky and stuff, so I figured I'd do a thumbnail of a thumbnail. Tomorrow's dropping down to 8 for Sarah, so nice, beautiful day today. Still not bad tomorrow, but not as warm. 15 in Falmouth, 14 in Australia, but it is also early in the morning for you. Monty's on, welcome. He has -7, windy, partly cloudy, headed for 3 in the forecast. So, yeah, you're warming up, but just barely. Maple syrup season is almost done here, I would say. We're getting to the point where we don't have enough cold nights, so the sap won't run anymore. So it's had a pretty good season anyways, from what I can gather. 6 people on, 6 thumbs up, so we're even. Last week when we did this, we got up to 25 people, I think, on with 25 likes, so that's kind of our target that we're shooting for on the day if we get that. It's 69 Fahrenheit for a high today for Christopher. That's not too bad for a spring day. I've been hearing from people that have been going down to Florida and Mexico and even Las Vegas and California that it's a little cooler than normal for them right now. So if you happen to be from that area and you're on, are you experiencing a little colder weather this time of year than you normally would be? 14 degrees Celsius in Athens and expecting a thunderstorm. Well, that will cool things off even more if you get a little rain, Roger. For those of you who may or may not have watched yesterday's episode, depending on when you logged on, what you saw, this box came from Ken in Australia, and it came with duty on the back. And duty, I mean customs duty, not poopy duty. But The reason why that happens is if you send a gift and you say it's a collectible in it, the government wants to take a little piece of it. So my advice as a postal worker, if you're mailing stamps to people, put paper. It is paper. And if your post office needs a little bit more than that, put sticky paper or stickers, because stamps are kind of sticky paper. And you might get away with whoever you're sending it to not having to pay the customs on it. That was my word of advice in yesterday's video, so I thought I'd pass it along this one in the live stream as well. Oh, and if you're a office chair or gaming chair company and you happen to be watching my channel and you want to send me something to get me to promote it, I could use a new office chair. This one is squeaky, and I've had it a long time. I've been sitting in this chair for probably 30 years now. It was a work chair I had at the West Coast when I lived in Vancouver, and when the company was upgrading stuff, they said to people that work there, if you want to take the office furniture, you can. So I took this chair home, and it is probably on its last legs and probably not doing any favors to my back. So if you happen to be one of those companies out there and you want me to test out your chair, I'd be happy to do it. That filing cabinet also came from my work when they were getting rid of things, so I benefited with a chair and a filing cabinet. But they've been around a long time. So I apologize. You hear the squeaks and things in this. And how I sit in the chair. Sometimes I'm not sitting straight up in it. I'm leaning back because the chair kind of has deteriorated that way. Steven says, to send a parcel here, you have to go online, fill out a customs form. They don't always accept that you want to call what you want to call something. I reduce the value. Yeah, he put a value of $100 on it too, so I probably had to pay that. When I sent off the winner their gift from Stamp of the Month, I put that it was paper, and I gave it a value of $20, so they shouldn't have to, if they had to pay anything for paper, they wouldn't have to pay very much. So I agree with you, Stephen. Do send it a lesser value than probably it's what it's worth. Because the chance, and when I send it, there wasn't any tracking on it too. If it gets lost, which sometimes they do, but I haven't had any of my winter stuff get lost, other than I sent one to the UK and it bounced back to me, and I had to take the picture that was in it out of it and just send the stamps next time. So that did happen once. Christopher said he got his swivel chair from his local library for free. Oh, that worked out well. Carla's on from Mexico, 15 degrees there. So people are popping on now. That's good. Yeah, sometimes we get our furniture donated. You know, that's how you acquire some things. When my parents were downsizing from their houses, or my in-laws, we've acquired things that way. We're at the point now where we kind of want to downsize, get rid of some of the clutter as our kids are getting older. We're also putting things together that they might want in their apartments and things when they move out. So we've got a little of that going on. Oh, Gary's on in Surrey. Good day. Welcome. You've caught us at the start, Gary. Welcome. But I do find there are a few things that you probably should invest in. Good bed, nice couch, good chairs, all important for us as we get a little older to have that extra support and comfort. Especially, I've got a bit of a back issue to begin with. When I was younger, I was in the West Edmonton Mall, which at the time was the biggest mall in the world, and they have an indoor roller coaster. And I went on it and I threw my back out. Oh, incoming call. Someone else will get that. Gary says it's 7 degrees and sunny in lower mainland of British Columbia. It's good. So you're getting kind of the same temperature we have right now here. Carlos says, I think the plants that I have in my house we got from my mom's office when they were about to throw them out. Yeah, so sometimes you get plant life that way too, as giveaways and rescues. I think we all have furniture and pieces like that. I know I have a muffin tin. I've never used it, but there was a muffin tin that my mother used to always make her English muffins in, and it was old and crusty and had the built up of years and years of use, but she was going to throw it away. And sentimental me kept it, put it in the garage. I've never used it for anything other than it sitting in the garage. And one day probably it will get thrown out, but I couldn't see it go. I couldn't see it just be given away or thrown away, so I did save it. Gary says they're well past the last frost date until November. Yeah, I think we still have a few days left that we can get below zero, so we're not at that. I haven't taken the winter tires off my cars yet, so give it to past Easter at least, so we got a few more weeks. After we get past Easter, I think we'll be fine. Many of you maybe never even have put winter tires on your vehicles, but here we do. We change the tires every 6 months, so I've got a set of summer tires in my shed waiting to go on the vehicles. Especially where I drive for a living delivering the mail, I need to have good tires. Gary says the in-ground water sprinkler system is ready for this year now. In-ground water sprinkler system, fancy. If I want to water my garden, I got to take out the hose and the sprinkler. But same thing, I know some of you have pools too in your at your places. If I want to go swimming, I have to go to the beach. But there are people in my neighborhood that have them. I think that's probably why when you go on vacation and you stay in a hotel that has a pool, sometimes it feels extra special that you have a pool. Mind you, when I go to hotels, I don't tend to go swimming either, so I don't. We did go in the pool a few times while in Jamaica, and I did go in the ocean a little bit. Gary said that growing up in southern Ontario, her mother wouldn't plant outside until Victoria Day. Yeah, Victoria Day is another milestone for gardening and things too. Or people that go camping. That's usually the first weekend of camping, first long weekend in May. Too cold to go swimming at the beach there in the UK. And Christopher sent me a few pictures this morning of him going on his walk. The ocean looked beautiful. I don't know. The ocean probably was cold, but the waves and the sky looked nice. So. What's big in Canada, Stephen Renner says, that outside of Canada people may not know about? Oh, that's a good question. Because I don't know what people outside of Canada don't know about Canada. Music scene, for example. I showed, let's dig it out here, maybe, if I can find it real quick. Yesterday, Canada issued new stamps. These by a band called Blue Rodeo, very big band in Canada. May not have a whole lot of play outside of Canada, so definitely music. There are lots of great bands that are here that people probably should look up on YouTube and listen to some of their music. So Blue Rodeo is one of those. People always ask me what my favorite music is, and I always say the Beatles, U2, and Tragically Hip. And everyone seems to know the first two, but don't know Tragically Hip because they're a Canadian band, and they are huge here. So think of someone in your country that is massive, that maybe doesn't get played outside of the realm, like Robbie Williams in the UK. Massive Robbie Williams. Never really made a splash in North America. Maybe a couple songs like Millennium and things, but not really that big here. So Tragically Hip, look them up on YouTube. I see people swimming at the beach every day in the year unless it's a gale. Okay, so people do go in the water whether it's cold or not. There you go. You can look up Blue Rodeo and Tragically Hip, Carla. And Tragically Hip have a song called New Orleans is Sinking, is a huge one for them. Last American Exit's another one. 50th Meridian. I mean, the list goes on and on. Lots of great songs you can find. Blue Rodeo, you've got Try. They've got a bunch of other great songs too. And when you do a Google search or a YouTube search on them, you can say best songs, and they usually give you the videos of their top biggest hits. Gary says this country is huge, 5 time zones wide. Actually, 6 time zones wide, but yeah. Some people don't know that too, or maybe don't know that we have 3 territories and 10 provinces. I don't know, there's lots of things that are common knowledge here that if you don't learn anything about us, you probably wouldn't know. Christopher says, I think that most people in the world don't know that you shouldn't mess with Canada. We do have a reputation of being a very nice and polite country. But when it comes to war, we take it very seriously. They do now, says Stephen. Yeah, we get our backs up. Always forget to count Newfoundland's time zone. It's only a half an hour. It's the funniest time zone out there. The only artist you know from Canada is Paul Anka. Now, as a musical artist, Bryan Adams, Anne Murray, bands like Rush, Tragically Hip, Blue Rodeo, Celine Dion. These are all musical artists that are from here. Neil Young, Bachman Turner Overdrive, The Guess Who. All musical artists. If you're actually talking about artists, the Group of 5, check them out. Writers, there's all sorts of famous writers that are from here. Lucy Montgomery and Anna Green Gables' Tale is one of them. Gordon Lightfoot is Canadian, yep. Carla says, in Mexico, we have a young singer called Humbe. Great singer, quite handsome too. He's tall, almost 1.9 meters. Never heard of him, but yeah, that's another example of someone that you're probably proud of from your country, like we are here. And so, yeah, get out there. Send the message. Spread the word that there are things in your country that are worth Googling and looking into. You can use this platform if you like. Yeah, Dan Aykroyd, famous comedian, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey. When it comes to comedians, we have tons and tons of them that are world-renowned, and most people probably think they're Americans, but we're Canadians. Ida Marie's at the Post Crossing event in Spring Hill. Welcome, thank you, and check us out later on the replay crew if you got to go. Feist. Lots of Hollywood stars are Canadians, yeah. Michael J. Fox, Alan Thicke. Oh, those are just 2 oldies that are on a list of many. John Candy. You guys are promoting just as much as I am, so keep it up. Great list of Canadian musicians, Canadian actors, Canadian comedians. The rest are Australians. There's a lot of Australians in Hollywood too, yeah. The Mel Gibsons of the world. It's funny, in Canada, now, unlike the Tragically Hip, now the Tragically Hip did go to the US and did go and tour overseas too, but mainly stayed at home. The Canadian perception has been, I don't know if it will continue to be so, but you haven't made it popular, you haven't made it big until you've made it in the United States, just because of the size of the market and how many more people that there are there to see. Like Alex Trebek of Jeopardy, Canadian, but had all sorts of hosting and game show stuff going on here on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, but really didn't get his fame until he was in the US and he was host of Jeopardy. Do you guys call the sliced round bacon Canadian bacon like we call it here? Yeah, we do. It's Canadian bacon. Hayden Christensen, yes, of Star Wars fame, also Canadian. Bare Naked Ladies, great band, Canadian, who wrote the theme song for The Big Bang Theory. So if you've ever watched The Big Bang Theory and you've heard the theme song, written by Canadians. Really, Mel Gibson doesn't like being referred to as Aussie roots. That surprises me because I hear him all the time talking about, he owns a rugby team or a part owner in one. He talks about different things about where he's from. So I always thought that he was a proud Australian. Is rugby a big thing in Canada? Um, in some places. Overall, no. It's like cricket. Cricket's not a big sport in Canada, but there are pockets where you can see people that are playing it. And mostly people that have immigrated to Canada play it. But overall, not a big sport here. But my wife, actually, my wife did too. My wife played rugby in university. My daughter played rugby in high school. So there are teams of it, and it is being played. Is Canadian bacon the same as what we call shortcut bacon? I don't know. I don't know what shortcut bacon is. But yeah, Canadian bacon is usually ham that is in a circular format, about yay thick. It's got a little bit of thickness to it. You put it on an English muffin, and you put an egg on it and some hollandaise sauce over it, and you've got a wonderful Eggs Benedict. That's what you do with Canadian bacon. Or McDonald's uses it for their breakfast sandwiches. Gary said he went to the same high school as Martin Short, another famous comedian from Canada. He left a year or two before he started. Okay, in Hamilton. You only knew about rugby in Australia and New Zealand. They have different Australian rules. No, I guess they have Australian rules football, which is different than North American football too. Not to be confused with the rest of the world soccer that is football. Okay, so our bacon might be a little different than the bacon you're talking about. Hello, Olia. Welcome. Your internet's better, or at least better enough that you can join the live today. Thank you for joining us. You gotta go, Miss Joseph. I'm not sure where Joseph is this time around. Rugby more popular in British Columbia. Okay. S2K World Gaming. What sort of game do you play? Are you in London, England? London, Canada? Which London are you in, and what are you? What game are you into? Aussie rural football is kind of a mixture of rugby and soccer. Okay. Do I have any games, sir? My games that I used to play a lot were like Zelda games. I preferred the action adventure type games. I haven't played in a long time though. You're more of a steering wheel race car game person, yeah? Okay. Assassin's Creed, Witcher, those sort of games. I liked the adventure style of it, where you had an open world concept, and whether you went left or right didn't really matter. There was going to be something either way. So that's what I used to play. Gary says they get Australian rules football on TV out there. Yeah, gaming is a good way for a lot of different things. A lot of people have been down on gaming, that it takes you away from the real world. But the way the games work now, you're a lot more interactive with people around the world too now. So there is a social aspect to it, and there's some dexterity advantages to gaming, eye hand coordination. So a lot of good things about gaming too. Yep, Canadian flag right there. Happy and proud Montreal Canadiens hockey team. Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, the Final Fantasy games are great. Have I ever encountered a moose? Yeah, I've seen moose before. But when you're trying to find them, my son, for example, obsessed with moose. He has never seen one in real life. He's going to be 19 tomorrow, actually. And so when we go out, we try to go to places. We go hiking or whatever. We're always on the lookout trying to find a moose for him to see. Haven't found one. But I've seen several of them when I deliver the mail or when I've been driving. You come across them from time to time. Since 1998, he's been obsessed with the story that reflects modern life. In gaming? Okay. Steven, I'm sure there's channels all around the world for sports that you can watch. I probably could find a channel I could watch ping pong on, or I don't know, billiards or whatever. It may not be super popular, but there's probably a channel out there that covers it no matter what. Happy birthday to Ari. Yes, thank you. Always a good practice world gaming to do better and be better for others. Welcome, David. David's in Nova Scotia. Congratulations on your new stamp find, Year of the Pig. Thank you so much, World Gaming. Yeah, lots of gaming on Twitch. Big platform for that. My son, when he was younger, that's what he kind of wanted to do. He wanted to be online, Minecraft and streaming it and things. So never really got too far into it, but he saw other YouTubers and things doing that. And he thought it would be cool to do. TSN carries it. The Sports Network, or some people call it the Toronto Sports Network. Yeah, the best thing to do is spread positive vibes. I try not to surround me with too much negative inputs. And so that's why I always say leave positive comments, because that's the best way to increase good feelings around you. Excuse me. And we're back to stamps again. It always gets around and swings back around to stamps eventually. Sometimes postcards, sometimes other things. But the big car show is coming up again here soon. We get twice a year, once the end of April and once in the summertime. That's the outdoor one in the summertime. So I'll be looking forward to hopefully going and covering the indoor one. Yeah, F1 racing definitely qualifying is being rebroadcast again. The Japanese F1 race airs here in New Brunswick at 2 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning. So sometimes I stay up to watch. Probably I will catch it on replay when I wake up the next morning. This week I found there's been so many things on the go, so many great things to show you. Same with the mail. I've got some stamp packages, that parcel from Ken and an envelope from Robert in Manitoba that I'll show in a video. I've got 2 new stamp albums that I want to show you as well. Stamp versus Stamp, Snail Mail with Smokey and I are busy trying to come up or finish filming a video to come out next week for you guys as well to watch. I put out a video every day for months now. It has been a bit tiring, but it's working. It's getting into that routine. Yeah, 10 p.m. for you tonight, so much better time for you to watch it than 2 a.m. for me. Christopher's trying to log into Spotify. Are you looking for Tragically Hip and Blue Rodeo? And the Northern Pikes is another good one to look for from Canada. Grapes of Wrath, another one. Greek Orthodox Easter is on the 20th of April. When's the Catholic Easter? Well, I can't tell you Catholic or whatever, but Easter as we know it is in 2 weeks here. So Protestant Easter, I guess, if you want to call it that. But I think the Catholics celebrate at the same time. Yeah, the last album I went through, I can, give me one moment, was this Modern Postage Stamp album. A lot of great things. The binding started going before with it. That album from 1935, yeah, there's a lot of really nice crests in there for countries and regions that don't necessarily go by that anymore. But I have this album and this album to show you next week. Doug and the Slugs, another great band, yeah. Yeah, everyone's saying it's 20th of April is also Easter here. We all celebrate the same day, yeah. All right, you've got Tragically Hip on Spotify. Happy listening. There are a lot of great songs. The great thing about Tragically Hip too, they embrace their Canadianism so much that most of the stories in their songs are Canadian stories, whether they're about Aboriginal people, whether they're about unjustifiedly accused, or big events that happened, through the last 50, 60 years for the most part. Yeah, well, I'm not going to take the front cover off it, but it is a great cover for the album for sure. I am going to leave it intact as it is. There are a few loose stamps inside that I need to take out and protect a little bit better. There was a penny red that was just loose inside of it, so I'll remove that and put that with my other English stamps. Yeah, Gary made a really good point. The Tragically Hip, unfortunately, as a band, is no longer together because the lead singer passed away from cancer, and the lead singer knew that he had cancer, so what he did was he had a farewell tour and traveled across a good portion of the country. Unfortunately, he never came to Atlantic Canada during his final concerts, but they traveled around. They had their last concert in their hometown of Kingston, Ontario, and it was nationally televised. The Prime Minister went to the concert, and it was bigger than most Stanley Cup finals. People tuned in all over the place. I was at a karate camp at the time, and we put it on the radio at the campsite to listen to, because it was broadcast on the radio as well. Yeah, it was one of those events that people, when they say in the United States, where were you when Kennedy was shot? Here in Canada, one of the things they say is, where were you when the Tragically Hip played their final farewell concert? Christopher says he likes Ed Sheeran. He's good too. Christopher says, I'm a man, I can change if I have to, I guess. I don't know what show that came from. But if you want another good Canadian show that's about fixing and things like that, Red Green Show. He fixes everything with duct tape. There you go. Monty's on the same. Oh, it is? Okay. Is it from the Red Green Show? Keep your stick on the ice, yeah. So I didn't know that reference was from that, but I knew Red Green probably was there for some of that. He's hilarious. The man's creed. Okay. He has a beard of similar color to mine, but a bit longer. He was one of the best car modifiers. Yeah, he put some strange modifications on anything that he created with all of his duct tape and hockey sticks. Started on TV in Hamilton. Hamilton is a hub of television broadcasting. Does anyone still listen to the vinyl? Absolutely. Not absolutely saying that I do, but I can say yes, it is a renewed collectible. My daughter has a record player now, and she and her roommate buy vinyl records. Duct tape is the handyman's secret weapon, yep. SCTV, also another great Canadian comedy. And Lorne Michaels from Saturday Night Live fame, Canadian. Another great quote, Gary, from the Red Green Show. If women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. I remember, Christopher, you were doing work on your car, so hopefully you're doing better work on your car than Red Green would have done. And for those of you that don't know Red Green, it's another thing you should go onto YouTube and Google. It is very Canadian, though. There's a lot of things in Canadian programming that come across as Canadian programming. If you watch Danger Bay or Beachcombers, they are very West Coast filmed. You can tell that they are Canadian. The Littlest Hobo, you watch that show, you know it is Canadian. Different quality than the programming we saw coming out of the United States at the same time frame. Does Canada have a gong problem? Do you mean gang problem? Is that what you were spelling, like we do in the States? If it is gang, do we have a problem with it? Probably in major cities, there are gangs that are on. But overall across the country, probably not. But yeah, like any major city, Toronto's the fourth largest city in all of North America. There's going to be gangs. Montreal has had biker gangs. They've had wars going on with between Hell's Angels and another biker gang that's from Quebec. Chinese triad gangs out in Vancouver, they exist. The warring factions between Sikhs on the West Coast, we have them. Yeah. You can't go to any major city without having some problems. Monty says he must be handsome because he's sure not handy. I don't know what that says about me, because I think I find myself kind of handy. I must be not that good looking then. Oh, you used to watch The Littlest Hobo, Stephen? You got a bit of Canadian in you then. Yep, Vancouver's got gangs. Any oil in Edmonton? Well, there's oil north of Edmonton. Yeah, big oil fields in Alberta. And I guess there's oil fields in southern Alberta too. They have all the dinosaurs in around Calgary. That's because of the oil that's there. Yep, Canada's one of the largest producers of oil in the world. My pleasure, Stephen. Everybody should have a little bit of Canadian in them, or at least some influence. Maybe I am that influence for some of you guys that you're learning about Canada. And if that's the case, I'm proud to do it. In some ways, Alberta is the Texas of the North. Yeah, or Texas is the Alberta of the South. Thank you. Are you guys thinking this? We've been on this for 40 minutes. I can't believe that. I've been talking almost nonstop with what you've got going on here. Christopher says he has relations in Toronto, and I've got relations in the UK because my father's from the UK. And so we have cousins and things that are still there. For people visiting Canada, what are the best things to do? Well, as we're the second largest country in the world, there are so many things to do. It depends on what kind of a visitor you are, what you're interested in. Are you interested in going visit nature? Do you want to go explore the Rockies in British Columbia and Alberta? Do you want to go fishing in northern Ontario and some of the great fishing areas there? Do you want to see the Great Lakes? Do you want to see Niagara Falls? Do you want to see icebergs that potentially are floating by Newfoundland and Labrador? There is nature everywhere. There is also tons of activities. Canada's Wonderland in Ontario, if you want to go to an amusement park, or the West Edmonton Mall indoor park. There are beautiful train rides you can do and take from Vancouver all the way to Halifax to see and explore the whole country. It's just a matter of the amount of time you have and where you want to go. So yeah, tons of things to do. Quebec, really beautiful. If you want to see places that still have a French feel to it, Quebec City is amazing. Stephen says his wife has cousins in Winnipeg. Does Quebec still want to have independence? There are probably some areas that do at this point in time. It is amazing, but Canada right now is unified as a sovereign country, and every one of the provinces are kind of standing up to be Canadians. So we are in a state right now of togetherness, which is kind of cool. You get distant cousins, okay? Roger's also into vinyl, but from the 1970s and has a large collection. I probably have what you may call every format from the 1960s: albums, transcriptions, 45s, EPs, cassettes, R2Rs, I don't know what those are, 8 tracks, and Polish music cards. Probably all of Connie Francis, right, Roger? I know your love for Connie Francis. We are 15 people on and 10 likes. We got to get those likes up. I want to see those numbers matching, if we can. Anybody seen Charmaine? Olia, have you talked to Charmaine lately? I haven't seen her on of late. Charmaine in Maine. France is an hour and a half ferry ride from Newfoundland. Yeah, they do have Saint-Pierre-Miquelon. Are within our waters. Reel to reel, R2R. Okay, reel to reel. Thank you for the clarification. Canadians still use payphones? There are some payphones around in big cities. Can I find a payphone in Moncton? Maybe. But most of them don't. Most everybody has a cell phone now, so payphones have become kind of obsolete. But yeah, there are probably some around from here and there. Gary's got lots of vinyl still from the 80s and 90s. Mehdi is on from Finland. Just watching the live stream of World Synchronized Skating Championships. 2 Finnish teams to skate soon in Helsinki. Very exciting. Well, good luck to them, and thank you for popping in. I know that you're going to be busy watching them, so maybe you'll watch this on the replay. Do I have Taking Tiger Mountain? Oh, okay, no, sorry, this is for Roger. Monty's favorite album cover is Never Say Never Die. Never Say Die by Black Sabbath, sorry. The album cover that stands up for me stands out the most for me right now is probably Nirvana's with the baby in the pool. That's the one that when you think of album cover, I think of that album cover. But there's a lot of different ones I guess that would pop up. What animals run wild in Canada? All of them, if they're not housebroken. Stephen, where are you located? Where are you in comparison to us? Torval and Dean, the skaters. Yeah, you should be yawning more than me. It's a lot later for you. I've been up for many hours, but I don't know. Stephen Renner, I know where you're from, Steve. Stephen Renner, I was curious where you were located. The States. What state, though? Are you a northern state, a southern state, a central state, a west coast state, an east coast state? Maybe you're from Alaska. Maybe you're in the northern state. Maybe you're in Pennsylvania. Okay, now I got you. So probably you're used to most of the same animals that we're used to here. Yeah, you're not going to have a lot of moose in Pennsylvania, but you do get deer in Pennsylvania. We've got all those sort of things that are raccoons and porcupines and similar type animals. Pink Floyd's cover with the rainbow, yeah, going through the prism. Very iconic album cover. Bison in Alberta, yeah. So you're gonna have bison in the Dakotas. So a lot of the same animals are gonna be through the northern U.S. as we're gonna have through Canada. We don't have things like alligators, which you have in the south. They're not going to be found here. We have polar bears. You're not going to have any polar bears. We don't have polar bears here in New Brunswick, though. Polar bears are in northern Canada, in the territories or northern Manitoba, that area. You've never seen an alligator. Have you never been to Florida? I've been to Florida. I've seen alligators. And you really want to see a moose. Well, you can come to Canada and explore the wilderness. You might see some. Certainly those people that love to go canoeing and go into northern Ontario or northern Quebec or through Manitoba, you're going to see moose in the northern shield, as we call it. There are a lot of them there, but we have moose down this way too. They get in the way of truckers. Yeah, there's definitely rattlesnakes in British Columbia, in the desert section of it. Even up towards Kelowna and that area, they've got rattlesnakes. It gets hot. They're there. I've had chocolate mousse. It's delicious, but it doesn't count. No. Chocolate mousse is a dessert. Think of pudding. A chocolate pudding. That's kind of your texture and what chocolate mousse is. But way creamier, way richer. Never mess with a Cobra chicken. Agreed. Any of you who don't know what a Cobra chicken is, it's a Canada goose. You know, lots of seagulls and eagles here in Canada too. You know, there's more bald eagles in Canada than there are in the United States. We actually import them into you. Yeah, elks with their big antlers be very amazing to see running wild. Killer whales, yeah, we've got killer whales up here too. We got beluga whales too. Is British Columbia overrated? Well, it depends on how you're rating it. What's your? It's a beautiful province. There are many great things to see in British Columbia. You got a goose chase you. Good thing you got away then, because they have a pretty bad bite too if they ever were to catch you. British Columbia is underrated. There you go. You got to see what your scale is. You say it's paradise landscape. It's beautiful. Those huge mountains you can see, the lakes, the rivers, the forests. Yeah, it's got a lot going on nature-wise in British Columbia. And it's a big province. It goes all the way up to the Yukon. And the panhandle of Alaska comes down into its waters. So it is a big province. And it's got a lot of nice things. You get some Canada geese that come over to Cornwall. Sorry, we're importing them everywhere. We're exporting them everywhere. That's a long flight, though. Yeah, lots of Canadian geese along the Great Lakes. Do I prefer rural or urban Canada? I myself, I live in a city, not a big city. We're about 150,000 people here in Moncton, and that's Greater Moncton area. But I don't have to go very far if I want to get to the rural area. 30 minutes drive, I'm out into the rural. So I like the best of both worlds. Can these only go for Qantas miles? Do they fly Qantas or do they fly Air Canada? Wow, Gary said they found a pigeon on Sable Island that was tagged in Spain. That is a long flight for a pigeon. I am guessing it didn't fly all that way. It came some other way. Maybe it was on a ship. I think it was on a ship. That makes more sense. Yeah, I would think that they would want to get their air miles with Air Canada rather than Qantas. The super pigeon, just like the super Canada geese that's getting to Cornwall from Canada. They're big birds with a long wingspan, but I don't think they have the stamina that they're going to fly all that way. I put a heat dish on in the background, so I just went and turned it off. I'm cooking in here now. It's starting to warm up. 54 minutes on. How widespread is French proficiency? Well, the province of Quebec is unilingual French, but the city of Montreal, you can get by with it English. And here in New Brunswick, we are a bilingual province, so mostly northern New Brunswick is French and southern New Brunswick is English, but you're going to have language signs in both languages. There are parts of Manitoba with Métis that has a mixture of French and native languages. But Ontario, mostly English. Like Newfoundland's, English. British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, for the most part, English. So, yeah. But because of Canada's two national language policies, you can get French schooling all the way across the country. Random Canadian kids can't expect it to be. Yeah, if they go to French school, they can. I grew up in a bilingual school, so I learned both languages. But not every parent puts their kid into a French immersion or a late immersion program. But a lot of children know how to speak French. There you go. So Gary learned French from grade 5 to 12, which we call the late immersion program, but he never really uses it now. Am I fluent? Fluent is a strong word. I can speak in both languages. I can read in both languages. I can write somewhat in both languages, but not very well. That is the problem with going through a bilingual program. I never know what words end in E and what don't end in E, whether they're English or whether they're French. So I would say my writing skills are medium at best. But with my job at Canada Post, I am a instructor. I teach new people how to use a reaching device or learn how to do the rural job, and I do it in both languages. In Lebanon, all the school kids learn French, Arabic, and English, and some schools have the option of a fourth language. That's amazing. It's also amazed in Europe how many, I've used Media as an example before, all the different languages she knows in Finland. There are a lot of countries that have options of learning lots of different languages because you're surrounded by a mixture of languages everywhere. See, Gary's kind of the opposite of me. He says he could never think in French, always had to translate it in his head. Where I went through the bilingual program, so I started immersion kindergarten almost. A lot of times, because I learned history in French, I was thinking in French and translating back into English, even though I was surrounded by English. We spoke English at home all the time. There were a lot of things that I had to think of what the English word was because I've learned it in French. You guys don't resent the U.S. given the prevailing climate, do you? We don't resent the population of the U.S., but we are not on friendly terms with the U.S. government right now. No. Gary learned some French words in the Navy that he can't repeat. No, we're coming up on 1 hour, 58 minutes and 30 seconds. So we're almost at the end of this live stream. We've covered a lot of topics, though. We've a lot of Canadiana this week, so very proud to be able to promote, and you guys are helping promote too by what you know. What's with Vancouver? You need more information in your question than that. It's an amazingly beautiful city on the western coast of Canada. Christopher said he did some French in school. Supposed ganglang. No, it has criminal aspects like any major city does. It is not a gangland. So, not true. But there are criminal aspects in it, of course. Huge buy Canadian movement in Canada now. Stores aren't selling as much U.S. U.S. products have been taken off the shelves in a lot of places, and we're substituting with products from other countries. So when we go into a grocery store, there are maple leafs next to things that are Canadians, and there are stickers that say where the other things are produced. Steve said, when he first went to China, to Russia, I was speaking to my students in Russian, got some funny looks. Seems that every time I came across a Russian word I couldn't remember, my brain just, okay, just went blank. How's the rent situation in Vancouver? Now, once again, I don't live in Vancouver anymore. I live on the East Coast, but rent is very expensive in Vancouver, from what I understand. Oh, you put a Chinese word into a Russian? That would make people very confused, I'm sure. There you go. There's Gary's feelings on it. He only lives a half an hour from the border, but won't cross again until things change. Has inflation gotten bad there? Not yet, no. I know that your egg prices are through the roof and many other things. We are not feeling that same thing here yet. Oh, is rent... It all depends where you are. Small towns in Canada are not going to be very expensive to live in. Big cities are going to be more expensive to live in. That's the same thing in any major country, I'm sure. Where there's more population and there's more driving demand, rent will be higher. Present situation is affecting everyone in the worldwide. Yeah. We are all finding new trade partners. We are finding new allies. They have changed the game, so the rules have changed, so everybody's looking elsewhere to do business now. Stephen's quit buying eggs. Yeah, I can't imagine some places how... Well, I see what's being posted, how expensive some of them are. Just crazy. You have to make some choices. There's going to be a lot of choices to be made in the grocery stores, I'm sure, coming up with everything getting a lot more expensive there. $10 a carton, yeah, no. Right now I'm getting 36 eggs for $9. That's what it cost me here. There you go, some more Canadians. Yep. Why does Canada punch above its weight sports-wise? Meaning our population being only 40 million people, but we still seem to excel in a lot of sports on some aspects. I don't know. Heart, I guess, would be what I would say. We have a lot of heart in our athletes. Steven says, I switched my main meat to ground turkey and they raised my 10 ground turkey to 13 overnight. Oh, the price went from 10 to 13? Yeah, you just wait a month till after all your tariffs have fit in to see how much all your prices of everything is going to be. All right, well, on those news, we got some more egg prices coming in. All right. I'm going to end it there on that sort of stuff. We're not really much of a political channel to begin with, but always proud to be Canadian and promote it. So thank you so much for all the questions and inquiries about Canada and all the other things we've talked about today. Thank you to everybody who's taken time to join in and see every Saturday. This time we get together, we talk about whatever's on people's minds. And through the week, we have Wednesday's live stream of decorating a postcard where you guys get to choose on that. And then we have all the other videos that come out on all sorts of topics. A lot on post-crossing and stamps, but sometimes we fit in some other things too. So for now, everybody, have a magical week.